If you're ready to go, we're ready to go, and we've got a great recipe planned for you today. And guess what? Mr. DC is apron one.
Thank you.
Woo!
It's nice to be back.
And therefore, by default, I am apron two. But tell us what we're going to make, because I've been requesting it for, what, 5 years?
Yeah, basically, one of our favorite restaurants to frequent, just because they make the best Marsala sauce in the world, is Carrabba's. And we've gone there many, many times. We get that every time that we go.
Yes.
And I kept threatening to learn it, and I painted myself into a corner, so now I have to try it.
Sometimes we've even come home with it just as a side that we can put on our own meals.
That's true. So it's either going to be a great success or a spectacular flame-out failure.
Because we're trying it for the first time.
Yeah, we never practice.
Yeah.
Which
it's always fun to see how it'll turn out.
But let's first tell them what they need.
Okay, so you talk about the amount of the ingredients, and I'll show what you talk about.
Okay, first we're going to need 4 tablespoons of butter.
Oh, all right. So that's the first thing. In the order? So I've got a half a stick here. I'm going to be cutting this in half, and that'll give me the two tablespoons.
All right, we need 4 boneless chicken breasts that are halved.
Okay.
Which they are.
So this is how we're going to do it this time. We're not going to cut these in half lengthwise like I always do, but you're going to be pounding them down.
Yes, and I would have been afraid of the cooking time had I not got the actual thing. Okay, then
what's
we
next?
need 4 shallots.
Shallots, okay.
Or as my friend Gordon Ramsay, I don't really know him, but he would say shallots.
Shallots. All right, and we're going to use the whole thing, right? All the way down to the bulb.
You don't have to do the afro on the top.
Yeah, right. We'll leave those out.
Leave those out.
All right.
And then we're going to need a ½ pound of mushrooms.
Okay.
Also sliced.
So this is 8 ounces. All right, so we're going to use the whole thing. Okay. And you did the white sliced mushrooms. You don't have to be fancy with the type of mushrooms.
Now we are going to need 1/4 cup of Marsala wine, and it has to, they specify the dry Marsala.
Okay. So we found that just at like a regular Total Wine or any kind of ABC wine will have something like that, but make sure it says dry.
Yep.
Okay.
One time when I was a host on HSN, I remember Robert Irvine. We were going to use one of his pans. Okay. But he was also cooking with wine, so he would pour some and then he'd drink some.
My kind of chef.
Maybe Robert will be our 3rd apron sometime. I don't know. That would be a hoot. Okay, now we have a ½ cup of Judy's favorite thing, heavy cream.
Heavy whipping cream, yes. I put that in my coffee in the morning. It's one of my major indulgences, but we're only going to use a ½ cup of that.
And then we're going to need 1 teaspoon of lemon juice.
Okay, so we have our little teaspoon, we have our lemon juice, we also have salt and pepper that we're going to need to taste. And what do we need as far as utensils go?
Utensils, okay. Well, you have your little paring knife to do that.
Yep.
You have your little teaspoon thingy. I have my cup for the wet.
Okay,
on there,
we'll use the ½ cup. Yep.
Correct. And then you need a meat mallet.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll be using that on the meat.
You ever wondered why they tell you to pound the chicken? I'm going to tell you why.
And the other thing he's going to tell you is you're not going to use this side or this side. Right. You're actually going to pound it with the flat side.
And the reason is it will also be covered with some cling wrap.
Yeah.
So that you don't want to actually hit the chicken with the wooden thing.
Okay.
Okay. And I have my own to trim a little bit of the chicken as I go. This is the way that I'm going to put it in our pan, because this.
But you said we actually need 2 pans.
That's correct.
Because there's nothing to do with the oven, so everything is stovetop.
That's correct. And I did the second pan because they want you to. We're going to be cooking the chicken partially and then taking it out and setting it aside.
Okay.
So I figured I'd have another pan for that.
So shall we prepare everything and then start with cutting, chopping, pounding, and we'll have everything measured and ready to go?
We could do that.
Okay, let's do that. So we'll do our transition and get everything ready for you and then show you how it's done.
First apron, baby. So when they tell you to pound the chicken, why did they tell you to do that?
I wanted to know the same thing.
Okay. Well, basically, and I did 3 of them because I don't want you to hear just there's a certain technique that you have to use. But I think that if, your husband's very bad and you really like to hit him and you take out all that aggression.
You just want to get the aggression out. He said, wow, this is really fun.
No, it is tenderizing the chicken, but also more importantly, it evens it out. So if you look at, this is a great before and after shot if you can see what we've done. I already did these. You take a little cling wrap and put it over the top because you don't want to just have the meat going into this.
Or you've also said that some people have put it in a Ziploc bag.
Correct.
And they've done the pounding that way too.
This was more economical.
Yeah. You can move this around from
what you're really trying to do is go from where it's fatter and push it to where it's a little bit thinner already. So I'm mashing the bigger side and then sort of moving it as I go. And then that's why you see they have a really good consistency on the ones that I've already done.
I think that's probably also the way you're doing it is another reason they didn't want you to use one of the pointy sides.
Oh, sure.
It would go right through the saran.
Exactly. Is this fun?
You having a good time over there?
I'm having a grand old time. Okay, I think that we're good. We're exactly where we need to be.
Okay.
Say goodbye to our meat mallet.
Okay.
And now we'll get
into the next steps.
to the nitty gritty here. Now, what we're supposed to do is I will take, is this the 2 tablespoons?
That's the 2 tablespoons,
Okay.
the first 2 tablespoons of butter. Yep.
And I will bring that, I'll put that on about a medium high, let's say. And I'm going to let that melt. And it's going to do a couple of things for us. Obviously, it's going to be, in lieu of olive oil, we're using the butter. And we're going to put our chicken breasts in there and saute them for about 2 minutes on each side.
Okay.
So I will probably...
So they won't be done through and through completely with 2 minutes on each side,
Right.
And that's the idea.
That's the idea. And that's why you set it aside. Now, don't forget, like any meat that you cook, whether it's fish, chicken, steaks, they will continue to cook when you take them off the heat.
Yeah.
So, and then we're going to have another about 3 minutes at the end. So what I'm going to do, Jude, is set my
Timer?
timer
Okay.
for 2 minutes. So then I know when to flip it over.
All right.
But I'm going to let this come to melt first before I...
And your mushrooms.
Are there.
Voila.
Very excited.
Yes.
We have our... Oh, no, I gotta see what this smells like.
Oh, the wine. I mean, is it drinking wine or is it pretty much
It's cooking
just
wine.
cooking wine? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll start on this side.
That's what you're using it for. I don't think that I would do what Robert Irvine did.
I could get you a glass. Oh,
Speaking of
but
that.
speaking of that, if you see what we have behind us, we're actually filming this on New Year's Eve. So Paul said, what do you think? Should we go ahead and get some champagne ready?
Chilling.
So it's chilling in the little ice bucket over there, and that's going to be our toast to you a little bit later.
So, and when it comes out of the pan at the very end of this, it'll either be a celebratory toast or drown in our sorrows.
Toast, yeah. I'm sure it's going to be amazing. Amazing.
Hey, if it's half as good as we did with the risotto, I'll be very happy.
By the way, that link I'll put in the upper right-hand corner if you'd like to watch the risotto. That's one of the other recipes where we used a ton of mushrooms, and that recipe came out really, really good. So that's another YouTube video that you can watch. And if you haven't already, do subscribe to the channel. There's a little thumbs up button down below. You can click that. And there's even a bell. You'll see a little bell icon. And if you click that bell, you'll get notified when another video is uploaded. So if you have your notifications on your mobile device. So all the little tricks of the trade on YouTube.
You got that right. Yeah, the one thing that I definitely am going to need is something to scrape what Judy calls the goodness
Ah, yes.
from the bottom of the pan.
Oh, the
Because,
goodness.
and again, I brought a second pan, and the only reason, it's actually our everything pan from Robert Irvine. The only reason I brought that is to let the chicken rest after it's had its 2 minutes on each side.
Would you rather have a wooden spoon or even a plastic spoon rather than a metal one?
I feel like you got to dig into that.
Goodness.
Yeah, what it's
The crusting that's going to be happening with that stuff. Okay,
It's going to be very exciting.
very good.
All right.
Now what I think I'll also do is measure out the cream, so that's ready to go when you need it. And then you've got the wine. And you said half a cup of the wine, or was it a quarter cup?
It's a quarter cup.
Quarter
It's
cup.
half a cup of the cream.
Yep. And which one comes first as far as the add? I'll measure that first.
Let me get back to you on that.
I guess I could take a look at the recipe.
We got the first 2 minutes on.
Okay, cook until mushrooms are lightly brown, add the marsala, and then add the cream. All right, here's my answer. So marsala's going to be cool.
Look at this.
Yeah, that's great.
we have I'm getting the aromas, but we have a downdraft rather than going up through a hood.
All right, there's going to be your quarter cup of Marsala wine. Dry. Do they have extra dry, or was it just dry with your choice?
Dry or sweet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are they
At
both
least that's what I
Italian?
thought. Yes.
Okay.
Now, it's not exclusively, although that's where the Marsala wine was first. But most of it comes from Italy.
Mm-hmm.
There is one that I saw that was made in New York.
Oh.
Yeah. But this one was the only one that fit the bill that had the dry on it.
And I have the other 2 tablespoons of butter waiting for you when you need those.
Okay. Perfect.
And the lemon juice. And this is actually a pretty easy recipe compared to some of the things we've done with so many ingredients and so many measuring cups and spoons and pans and bowls and these things.
And as always,
Utensils.
I think that it's the nuance with cooking is that experience, like with the steaks that I've down to a science that I know exactly how much time and how thick the steaks are that I'm buying. So I'm hoping it will be perfect, but if not, I'll tweak it for the next.
So now are you putting the 2 minutes on a timer on so you know?
It's already on, but
okay.
yeah, so it'll flip and then I'll set it again.
Okay.
Anticipation is killing me.
That's so good. The browning is right.
That's what you're gonna want.
Have you one another 2 minutes set?
Yes, please. That would be fantastic. Cooking is a messy business, isn't it?
Oh, it's so much
the
fun.
job you did on that. That looks spectacular.
Isn't that good? Got your little mushrooms, got your little shallots, your half of a cup, quarter of a cup of the Marsala wine, and then I've got the cream, but I just stick it back in the fridge until we're ready to measure that up. Salt and pepper. There are a couple of other chicken recipes that we've done on the channel as well. One of them was Swiss cheese chicken. That's actually pretty easy too, with very few ingredients, and takes about 20 minutes to cook it and about 10 minutes to prepare it, so that was easy. And then the other one that we did was chicken with Parmesan cheese.
Yes, which is
so
delicious.
I'll put those links available to you as well.
By the way, those of you that are watching this on either YouTube or Facebook, it's kind of fun. You can do both. So we love meeting the people who find us through Facebook or that are watching it on YouTube. And if you want to give your suggestions that we would either perform or butcher, we love to do recipes that are simple.
Yes, and actually, you can either put them below in the comments section right below the video, or if you find us on Facebook, I'm Judy Kroll Style, and Paul is Paul DC Gemstones. On Facebook, you can messenger us that way with a recipe as well. And then join us on Sundays, because we do a live broadcast called Sunday Fun Day with Paul and Judy at noon Eastern Time every weekend.
Always fun.
So that's fun. We always make announcements, and then we'll also let you know what the next video that each of us has produced is and when the next one is coming out.
Okay, we're just about done.
Okay.
I'm going to put them to rest in there. I'll do salt and pepper the other side, which I didn't do.
Okay.
Okay. And this is just light salt and pepper because it's not going to be the crux of the taste, but it's going to. Okay.
So good.
So now we'll go back to.
It's probably going to be 8 meals for us because each one of those pieces of chicken.
Okay, so we got more butter.
More butter. The other two.
And the shallots and the mushrooms. This will be fun.
So when we showed you that half a stick and I said you only need 2 tablespoons, I was slightly mistaken. You need 2 tablespoons at a
I think I will do the wooden one while I'm stirring it.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
The other one's for when we're scraping it.
Okay. Do you want me to put the butter in now to that pan?
Butter's right in.
Right in. Okay. And then you said the shallots would be next?
Shallots.
Okay. Should I wait till that butter's melted?
Yeah, it'll keep doing its thing.
Okay. All right, incoming shallots.
Love it. By the way, I love these cutting boards, which are on Judy's storefront.
I'll put that in the description down below where you
They're
can buy
so convenient.
things that we use in the kitchen.
Yeah.
It's a kitchen store that's been fun to set up. With all the different utensils and pots and pans.
And by the way, if you do not have a cast iron skillet, it is essential in the kitchen.
I'll put that in.
Yeah, it's not even.
Because I'll show you where to get it, so you can just.
Okay, mushrooms in.
Mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. 8
Now,
and 1.
much like when we did the risotto, you're really just waiting till the mushrooms get sort of brown and soft.
Okay. That's really your only indication that you're
Right,
kind of ready.
and we do not need to worry about the rice, waiting to absorb that. That's the one that's if you see the mushroom risotto, you need to have Judy Crow alarms.
You're stirring for about 30 minutes just to get everything the way it should be.
And
But
as
boy,
I
it's
said,
worth it.
yeah, it's definitely worth it, and you cannot rush the process.
No.
See how this is browning up a little bit there?
Looks amazing. Oh, I'm so excited about this meal. And as we said, you can put all kinds of different sides with it. Obviously a salad, you could do rice. Whenever we order it at Carrabba's, he likes to get the mashed potatoes, and I typically get the fettuccine Alfredo with a gluten-free pasta, because they're very good about that, the gluten-free sides of things. And their kitchen is gluten-free, so that helps too for those of you who are celiac. But tonight, just for ease of delivery, we threw in a baked potato an hour ago. So that's going to be our side with this. This is going to be the star of the show.
It's looking good. Almost there. Almost there. That's why I said it's about 30 minutes.
Wow. And they're getting nice and soft.
Very nice. Okay, these are lightly browned.
Yeah. So what?
Give me just a little bit, another minute, then we're going to do our wine and
Okay.
bring it to a boil.
Okay, so I'll get the cream up too. Heavy whipping cream.
Listen, this combination of the shallots and the mushrooms is going to be quite.
When we've gone to the wine dinners at Carrabba's in our area, there is the best maitre d' and host, I think, on the planet. Matt. Wait till we tell him that we did this video. He actually has told other people about our YouTube channel and our In the Kitchen with Paul and Judy, so some of the other customers have watched some of the videos.
Okay.
And we'll have to tell him about doing this one, and I'll give him the link to it so that he can give us a judge and let us know how we rated with our Marsala. That's great. Oh my goodness. And there's not a lot of the Marsala to use.
No.
So we've got, 9/10 of a bottle left. We're going to have to make this a lot. Since it's not really a drinking wine.
It can become.
A quarter of a cup at a time.
It can definitely become
one of our
go-tos.
Go-to chicken dinners. Oh, okay, so now I can measure the
This is
half
where
a cup of the cream.
it's instructing me to scrape the bits off of the bottom of the pan.
You did say half a cup, right? Not
That
a
is
quarter
correct.
on the cream.
So scraped all of the goodness, as Judy calls it.
Goodness, gotta get it all.
All right.
Nothing goes to waste.
And now we can go ahead, I believe. I've done my scraping.
Okay.
Let's go with cream.
Okay.
And we return it to a boil.
Okay. Easy enough. Yummy. Yeah,
Have you told everyone about your secret about the heavy whipping cream?
in the coffee?
Yes.
Yeah, I actually told one girl, don't try it. Don't try it. Because once you do, you can't go back. So it was cute. I don't know if she ever did, but it's decadent. I will admit that. And the last ingredient that I have not used yet is the lemon juice. It's bubbling, looking good.
Oh, I forgot to do our lemon juice.
That's what I just said,
Yeah.
but I wasn't sure when it was supposed to
We
go
can
in.
go ahead. We can throw that right in there.
Okay.
Little
Yeah,
tang.
I said the last ingredient, and you said 1 teaspoon, correct? 1 teaspoon. Yeah, a little bit of tang is right.
I don't know how this is looking at home.
Oh, sorry.
From our top of our.
Did I get your hand?
That's okay. Good.
I got the stovetop instead.
But it looks really good.
Looks
We're getting the
amazing.
consistency that I'm
hoping
used to
that
seeing.
my top camera is capturing all this because it'll be fun to edit it all in so you can see what's happening.
All right, so I have one last task, and then we're going to be good to go. And that is to return the chicken to its home. Well, not the coop. I mean, where it started its journey.
Started its Marsala journey.
And
Chicken Marsala.
And now I'm going to do that in there. We're covering it, of course, with the mushrooms when we're finished. I think what I will do for us.
Almost thinking that with this amount of chicken, the next time we should double the Marsala recipe, the sauce recipe. Because as I said, when we go to the restaurant, we ask for extras because as you cut into the chicken, you know, you keep eating all the sauce goodness with each bite, so it dissipates. So that might be a good
We could
idea
totally
to
do that.
double the recipe the next
check
time
on
we
our
do
time.
it. So it's still sort of one of those habits from a long time ago. Oh, that looks so good. It really does. And we'll be able to spoon a lot of that stuff right on top of it. So that's great. Yes, you know something it reminds me of as we're talking and cooking about the other recipes that I'm referring to. A lot of times I think people when they go to YouTube, they're watching a video and then they forget about it. But the videos live on YouTube. So if there are any recipes that you're curious about that we've done over the course of the last 6 or 7 months, you can just browse the playlist in the kitchen with Paul and Judy, and you'll find a lot of really great ideas.
That is a great point. Because, like for example, people join us have subscribed, and again, subscribing is free.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's a subscribe, it is free.
Yeah.
People that are watching my or your channel might have just discovered us a week ago. I have 42 lessons on gems. You can go back to the beginning and watch them.
Exactly.
All right, we're ready to go. I'm going to plate this for you.
Okay.
Here's what I'm going to do. Give me a second. Turn this off.
Do you need a hot pad for the handle of that?
I do not.
You're just not going to touch it.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to plate them and then I'm going to spoon more of your goodness on.
Fantastic.
And I had a special goodness
Perfect spoon. Yeah. That looks great. That guy. Oh my goodness gracious! So I have to show you the perfect chicken marsala with the mushrooms, the shallots, all the goodness, and the sauce.
Have you forgotten?
What's that? Oh yeah, let's do the champagne toast. A nice way to celebrate the coming of a new year that we have all been waiting with
Yes, that
bated
we've
breath
all
for.
been waiting to say good riddance.
To 2020.
Are you ready?
Ready. Beautifully done.
Not like the cruise ship.
I know I was going to say this is the second time that we've opened champagne on camera.
This
The
time it's
first
much better.
I don't think that lives anywhere, does it? Or is that
It's
still on
probably-
Facebook?
it's probably
oh
somewhere.
my gosh. I had
If not, we need to go.
nightmares
We
about that.
need to go back to it.
Let's just say that the cap came off a little earlier than we thought, and so we
On
didn't
its own.
have it. Yeah, we didn't have it dressed in the right direction. Wow, that looks so good.
Well, to all of you, we thank you for your support, honestly, and we hope that 2021 is a much better year than 2020.
For all of us. Cheers.
Cheers and Happy New Year.
And we'll see you next time for another In the Kitchen with Paul and Judy. Have a great night and a great new year.
Cheers. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Crystal.